Your favorite fat boys.
Man, what it's like, bitch.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite fat boy, Jerron.
Stefan, a.k.a. Mayhem, a.k.a. Mr. Your Weekend Update, a.k.a. I'm the guy that you come to when you need all the information about what's going on in your life.
Ta-da!
That's what I'm here for.
So, welcome back to another episode of your favorite fat boys podcast. What episode is this? I lose track every time.
Me too. I believe it's 61.
Oh, okay. Who ever
No,
thought?
62.
Who ever thought we'd get this far?
Not me.
I ain't think so either.
We're on the same page on that one.
So I guess we'll get to 100 episode. We gonna go live or something? Or we gonna do something special?
Yeah,
You don't sound convincing at all.
I did not.
So anywho, with this episode, we're gonna go over, a little bit, just a little bit of that, what's been going on in the world lately.
Right, we're going to just do a bit of a weekly, monthly update. Just,
A little bit of a smorgasbord, if you will.
Yeah, there's a lot been going on in the news.
It sure has. So let's start with our favorite. COVID. Is it finally over?
Regardless of what you hear, no.
Because y'all niggas have been just out here with no mask on. All willy-nilly.
So now, COVID is at a point where it's not as deadly. There's not as many hospitalizations. There's not many people having severe incidences with COVID, but COVID is not gone. It's not over.
No, because you niggas are still catching it.
Yeah. Said, and there was a study that just came out that there are now, based off of disproportionate deaths, people who identify as Republican have seen a huge increase in disproportionate deaths than people who identify as Democrats. For obvious reasons.
Right.
If you are a person who identifies as a Republican, there's a huge likeliness that you have not been vaccinated, and also there's the likeliness that you might be dead right now.
So what I've noticed more and more is people who haven't gotten vaccinated haven't gotten caught COVID. They're just like, oh well, I survived, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But it was a big deal because the country shut down.
Yeah, and we have a million deaths.
And they don't talk about the deaths no more. If I was like, how many hospitalizations there are,
Yeah,
the deaths in your county, in the city and things like that, in the counties, like they know it's not even. It used to be a ticker going across the screen during the news about the deaths and hospitalizations and things like that.
I can probably pull that clip up at some point in time, but it's exactly what I said. We're just going to get to the point where we're not going to care anymore, and we've reached that point.
Yes, you do. Ooh, ooh. Dream sequence.
We've reached the point where we no longer care about COVID. It's no longer novel in a sense.
Right. I still going to a store. I still have my mask on.
Oh yeah, most certainly.
And I still give somebody a side eye if I have them cough in the line or in a space. I'm like, still, because what do you have?
So yeah, I ain't giving side eyes, but I'm definitely wearing a mask and I'm definitely distancing.
And you still wash your hands, hand sanitizer.
Oh, cool. I mean, I always wash my hands. I ain't nasty.
Now, let me ask you, I know it's a little side topic. Do you wash hands because you're black, or you what? Because I heard it was a study, not a study, but it's an opinion that men don't wash their hands, period.
If I'm out in a public place, I wash my hands.
I do too. I've always washed my hands. I'm just that type of person. But as somebody said, men don't wash their hands. We don't do that shit. I'm like, what man you talking about?
I wash my hands. It's like if I'm using a public restroom, definitely washing my hands.
Right. So with COVID, I'm still taking those precautions because I can't afford to get sick. Even though I've got it's 2 shots in the booster, right?
Yeah.
I got those, and even though it's probably the variant I was not as deadly, I don't want to be up in the hospital. I don't want to be sick with it.
Right. So I am super vaccinated, 4 shots. 2 initial shots, a booster, and then they just had the new bivariant booster come out, and I took that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna get mine next month. So But yeah, I'm not fooling with this. I just don't want to be in the hospital sick with it because especially if I catch a bad strain. Suppose it knocks me out where I can't get the transplants. Then I'm all fucked.
Yeah, and the fact of the matter is that I hang out with old people and immunocompromised individuals. So,
I said I was sick.
So I have to continue to take precautions.
As you should. So, what is one thing, or maybe a couple of things that you've learned about during the pandemic? I guess about yourself. You were alone anyway.
Yeah. The pandemic, I've said this before, didn't really change my life that much. Mm-hmm. The only thing it took away was my ability to get up and go do karaoke or dancing or something that I did every once in a while.
Yeah, gyrating and all.
Yeah, and gyrating my crotch with some ladies. But it took that ability away from me for some time. But that was about it. Outside of that, not much. It didn't prevent me from doing the things that I normally do, like go to the grocery store, because I don't do much unless I have a specific need to do something.
Right. I think with me, the relationship I had, we already broken up, but we were still around each other a lot.
Right.
So with the pandemic happening, it forced us to separate each other, distance from each other. So it was just a moment of time where it was like, all right, you finally get that space you need from that person. And I guess, it was good to have that space because we were around each other so much still after the breakup. And it forced us to take time apart. So good, bad, and different, it was just needed. And I think another thing I learned was some of the public just dumb. Like, y'all just don't take precautions about shit, and then y'all want to buy toilet paper.
I always knew that people were stupid, but I had always figured that not as many people were as stupid as I thought they were. COVID just blew that right out the water. Because I always used to say, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, all of the zombie movies, they never start at the beginning of the apocalypse because you can never make it make sense. COVID proved to me, yes, you can. You got plenty of people who are infected, who are sick, and just said, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm just going to go out into the world. They say, hey, you should wear a mask. I'm not going to do it. And then you're just hacking and breathing on people, infecting other folks. Yeah, so I used to believe you could never make the beginning of the zombie apocalypse make sense. Yeah, you can.
Right.
COVID showed me that you can.
I agree with that. Let me see what else. The stupidity of the public. Y'all hiking up stuff. Just to, because a demand.
Inflation was going to happen because that's just how supply and demand works. Yeah. But corporate greed, I think no one expected it to be to the level that it was going to get, especially during the pandemic. Whereas most people were struggling, but corporations amassed somewhere along the lines of almost $400 billion during the height of the pandemic. Nice.
And all we got was a measly $1,500.
Nice.
They said, that can last you for 3 months. In what world? A rent on a low end is like $1,100 or $1,200.
Say, in the world where Congress people are making $174,000 a year guaranteed and have the best health care in the country.
I messed up. I should have been a crooked congressman.
Who are you telling? Man, I could be a millionaire right now.
Sell your soul. So Biden recently came out with student loan forgiveness, which is is it $10,000 or $20,000?
Well, it's for any federal loans that you've taken out. It's $10,000, but if you use the Pell Grant, it's up to $20,000.
Okay. So Pell Grant, I thought Pell Grant you had to pay back.
You do.
You do.
It's called a grant, but it's definitely a loan. It's just not a traditional loan because of what the rates are.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so up to $20,000 for a Pell Grant and $10,000 for any other federal student loans, but only if you're making less than $150,000 a year.
But why not just go and wipe it out?
Yeah, well, one, it all depends on the type of loan. Because if you have a loan that's not federal, then you asked out. The president won't be able to do anything about that anyway. And then two, you asked a question that quite a lot of, Democrat Congress people have asked, that it's a start, but it's not enough. Mm-hmm. But again, even this amount, 10,000, 20,000, that's enough to completely change, somebody's life who been living paycheck to paycheck to pay off a college loan debt.
Because, I mean, $10,000 ain't nothing to scoff at.
Yeah, especially when you're not making much.
Yeah.
So it's definitely directly addressing a lot of financial inequality in America. That's a start.
It's a start, yeah. Because I was, when I read about it, I was thinking, like, 'cause I understand Biden probably get both parties to align with this. No, he didn't?
Doesn't need to.
So I was
Because
thinking,
it's based off an executive order.
because I was thinking, like, was there a number, and somebody said no to, was the number he came up with first, like, we knew 50,000. And they like, no, what about, didn't it work its way down there? Somebody said, all right, 10 is fine.
Well, no, he was always suggesting that he was going to do some type of student loan forgiveness, but never the whole amount, because regardless of what the progressive agenda that Biden has, the limited progressive agenda Biden has pushed, he is pretty moderate.
Okay.
So he was never going to just wipe out all student loan debt.
Of course. It would be nice they did, though. On free health care and reparations, but hey,
Hey, now you're asking for too much. Hey, now, you heard what Tuberville said down in Alabama. The people who do the crime are the ones who want the reparations. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right. Well, let me ask you, you paid off your student loan, right?
I did.
How much was yours?
Honestly, I can't even remember at this
You
point.
just kind of blocked out your memory?
Yeah, it's been so long, but it was upwards of $15K. But yeah, it's been so long since I paid them off, I can't even remember anymore.
What was when you went to College Park? How much was that? That you got a scholarship?
No, I had some scholarship money, but that was mostly loan money.
Oh, okay.
That I paid off, and then when I went to Coppin State, that was loan money as well. But yeah, it was both of those combined. It was upwards of 15,000. But again, I can't even remember the amount because it's been so long since I paid it off.
Okay, well that's not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, College Park was expensive as shit, so it's probably a lot more with that because the semesters at College Park was expensive. But when I decided I found the time to finish, I picked a cheap school. I need something that I can have a shit job and pay off.
Right.
So Coppin State it was. Because all I needed was that piece of paper.
So there you had that. And then he also was saying he's decriminalized marijuana.
No, what he's done is he's pardoned anyone who's, has a federal conviction for a simple possession.
Okay.
So that's upwards of like 5,000 people that are just records clean from that.
Okay.
And they're going to reevaluate the classification of marijuana. Because right now, marijuana has the same classification level as heroin. Right. The same schedule class as heroin. And they are vastly different in degree.
I thought you would say coke.
vastly different. So yeah, so they're going through the process of rescheduling marijuana, which one will take it off of, a federal felony from having it, and there'll be more studies being done on it because now that it's gonna not have that Class A scheduling, and he's urging state governors to do the exact same of pardoning anybody who has simple, marijuana possession felonies.
Yeah, it don't make sense to, especially with the legalization
Right.
of weed.
That's been going across the country in recent years.
And you either find people for marijuana use, or you are sentencing them to such a harsh amount of time for possession.
Exactly.
So, like, it's crazy because, like, reading more about this, and you're realizing that the war on drugs, all the people are in prison or have records of it and can't get a job because of what you're doing, and you're saying, oh, well, you know what? This is $1 billion industry. Let's legalize so we get some money off of this now. But when people were selling it or using it, it was a problem.
Hey, well, the war on drugs, one, was a war on minorities. That was its intent from the beginning.
Right.
And two, the war on drugs, we lost. You can't win a war against a concept.
Right.
And we completely lost the war on drugs. So it's about time that these things would change. And Biden was early in the 90s was a huge proponent of that war on drugs. So I guess it's kind of him correcting his mistakes.
Right. So do you think he's doing enough as a president?
within the confines of what he can do, he's doing more than I expected.
Okay.
I am rather progressive, very liberal, rather progressive. So he would never do enough to satisfy what I believe that the president should do, but he's doing way more than I expected.
Yeah, I see a lot of, and I don't necessarily mean to, but I see more of what they have a problem with him doing, and then I'm looking at it, I'm like, the things he's doing is like, it's just the baby steps. And I'm not gonna knock it, but I just feel like it's just baby steps. Like I feel like somewhat similar to what you're saying, like, you know, it's not enough per se to me. Or for me.
I mean, I can't even say they're baby steps because you got to look at the past 30, 40 years. These were moves that any president in those time frames could have done. None of them did.
Yeah, this is true. Because as much as they talk about, you know, getting an education or, you know, having your own business and, you know, tax breaks and things like that, he's making. I still want my reparations, and I want my free health care.
I mean, at this point in my life, I don't really need reparations, but I could always use some free health care.
I think, do you feel as though, like something I've seen, you know, given with talk about reparations, if you didn't get a lump sum of money, would you want a benefit? Like, would you not want to have? Would you want health care, or would you want not to pay taxes? If you had a choice.
I mean, either way, the money would be the far better option because, again, you're not, as far as reparations go, you're not going to just give free health care to one group in America and say, yeah, everybody's going to be okay with this.
Fuck all y'all. Say no.
Everybody's going to be okay with this. So, no. So, I mean, you know, just throw free health care out of it as part of reparations right out the window.
Okay, so
but
would you...
Not paying taxes, yeah, that's nice and all, but my money's still going to the country. So, you know,
it's
purchasing within the country.
It's state tax and federal tax, so I guess, like, could we not pay one to the other?
Well, again, as federal reparations couldn't do shit about the state, so you're going to still be paying state taxes.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, and my money is still going to be purchased within the country. So, you know, not paying taxes isn't that huge of a deal as much as just getting a large lump sum of money. Because as a person who needs to spend money, I'm going to spend it either way.
Yeah. Or would you want some land? Get your 40 acres in the mule?
I hate cutting the little bit of grass I got in the back and the front. Granted, I understand land can help you establish some generational wealth. But one, I ain't trying to have no kids. And two, I hate fucking yard work. I don't want to tend no fucking fields. Just go put that out there now.
We out there, master got me work here. Well, let me go.
Wait a minute, I'm master. Damn you, me.
How you get white man like this? Gotcha. Birdman hand rub.
Nah, that's a DJ Khaled. You played yourself. It's like, yeah, land is great, you know, it helps to establish generational wealth. But since I'm not having any kids to pass any wealth down to, I don't need it.
Yeah, I don't know what I would want. I mean, a lump sum of money is good, but then you have to know what you want. I think having a plan, an advisor, or something of some sort to help you manage that money and possibly invest it, I think is very important. So,
oh yeah, all the time. If you get a large lump sum of money, you definitely should have a plan, or at least know people who can help you formulate a good plan to do with the money.
You get $150,000 or $200,000 dropped in your lap. What you gonna do? You buy a house, that's gone. If you want a foreign car, that's like at least $50,000 right there. So it's like, you know, you want nice things. Nice things are expensive, but like if you could take that $150,000, $200,000 and then you buy a business or start a business, then you can double triple your money. So but that's a lot of hard work too, because you get somebody money and then they don't know what to do with a business. You can be out of business.
Yeah, and I won't say nice things are expensive. Expensive things are expensive.
True. So I mean, we can get some money, do some running spoons.
Bringing that back, huh?
We can bring that back.
It was never a thing. And it was done when they put it in mind. And that was the express purpose for it.
Oh, boy. And let's see what else was going on. So, your boy Kanye's in the news again.
He ain't my boy. I was a cursory fan of Kanye. He had a couple of albums that I could get down with and a few songs that I would rock, but I was never a huge fan of Kanye. But his mental illness is clearly untreated right now, and it really should be. That boy need help.
I'm not gonna say I understand it. What I get from it is this is to generate buzz, to get people to talk about what he's doing, to say, "Hey, look at me." I think it's just I think he wants attention.
This goes well beyond attention seeking because he's Kanye West. He has millions of followers, millions of fans. He doesn't have to do much of anything to get attention. This is him. Again, it's unmitigated mental illness and him using that as an excuse to try to generate this, I guess I would call it counterculture.
Okay.
Because again, he doesn't need to do much of anything to get attention. When he was on Twitter, he followed one person on Twitter, some random guy, followed that person, and then that person who just randomly got followed by Kanye was inundated with millions of messages trying to figure out, whoa, why is Kanye following you? Kanye doesn't need to do anything retarded to get attention.
But he does. But not saying he needs to do that, but he does. It's like with he had an interview recently on I think Good Morning America, and
no, he had an interview with Tucker Carlson.
No, he had an interview with a woman. I think it was Good Morning America. There was recent, like not too long ago.
No, his most recent one was with Tucker Carlson.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what you was talking about? You was talking about Trump on that one, right? Yeah. No, I saw some of that. I did see some of that. I just didn't. I was like, I can't do it today. Like, it just because it sends you for a mind fuck, and it's like, what's really going on with you?
Again, it's untreated mental illness. It's because of the fact that he is so popular, he's so rich that he doesn't feel like he needs help. He knows he has mental illness. He's
I think it's around record saying that.
Been pretty candid about the fact that he has mental illness. That he just fuck it. I'm a billionaire. I'm a genius. I don't need to have this treated. I just say and do whatever the fuck I want.
I think because of the fact that everybody recognizes his musical talent and no one's taking that away from him. They're like, oh, he gave us these albums and he produced all this great work. He's such a genius that, he just expressed himself. But it's like, he said a lot of damaging things and a lot of stuff like, kind of like, fuck y'all, I'm a free thinker. So, and it's like.
And that's the thing with mental illness is that when you don't get it treated and it just becomes the norm for you, that you get that continuing boost of ego, and then any reaction that you get is, oh, they hate me because I'm genius, or they don't want to take me seriously because I'm doing something that's against the norm. No, motherfucker, you're just crazy. And people are starting to realize that.
Yeah, I think
you can't use it as an excuse for the crazy shit that you say.
Yeah, he has he's definitely off his rocker at times. And have you seen footage of his Donda school, Donda Academy?
No.
So it was one clip that's circling around. Like I guess in the morning, they sing like, good morning Donda, good morning Donda. Something they chant. It gives off very cult-ish vibes. So I can't remember what his purpose of the school was. I know he wanted to do something with more so like the arts and things like that. But it just all the staff, all the kids are wearing black, and it's just like very cultish. It's like there's no desk, they're just kind of sitting on the floor, and it's like okay. Then he had like a little fashion show come through. It's weird.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you have the kind of money that Kanye West has, and no one telling you, dude, you need some fucking help. You just gonna do whatever your eccentric mind tells you to do.
Yeah, I think it's leading him in the wrong direction with a lot of things. To see was you see the clip of him going to the Adidas executives and holding up porn in their face. He said, "This is what you're doing to me. You're fucking me."
I did not see that. Well, that's clearly the best way to not have a deal with Adidas. You want to ruin any chances of having a deal with Adidas? That'll do it.
Yeah, so right now they're going back and forth. He says he wants to separate. Well, he said his deal is about to be up. So he says he's going to like just take his brand and just have it as a standalone brand, not tied with anybody. And I've been reading different things like they offered him like $1 billion, for his contract was up, just to like say, you can walk away and let's keep the designs with you $1 billion. He's like, no. And the creative control he had, the designs he had and everything, Adidas says take it from him.
And
So,
I would take everything he says with a grain of salt, honestly.
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Until there's some independent investigative journalism going and look at that, I'd take anything he says with a grain of salt.
The only thing that I was like excited about, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool for him. With regards to Adidas, that he was leaving them and they had the brand as a standalone. So I was like, okay, he's gonna have his brand is that powerful now that he can go ahead and be separated and not be, because in regards to when I say it was cool, because I've read stories about with Jordan and Nike and LeBron Nike. As big as those names are, they tied to Nike. They make a lot of money for Nike. Imagine if Jordan was just Jordan by himself, LeBron was just by himself. That would have been a huge game changer for as black athletes, as black designers, and things like that.
That's an assumption that we're making. Because the fact of the matter is that Jordan and LeBron aren't the ones making the designs.
No,
They're
they
just
have
putting their names on the shoe.
Yeah, they had some input on them, but Kanye is designing those shoes. He's designing the clothes and things like that.
Ugly as shit.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Adidas Yeezys that he's put out in the last few years. I just don't like it for taste wise for me. I'm not knocking it because I see a lot of people do like those shoes and his clothing and things like that. They like the homeless people stuff.
Ugly hobo wear.
Right. So the Adidas stuff he's put out, I've never been a fan of. So
right. So, under the assumption that he has the power to carry his own brand, I don't know.
Yeah, we won't know until he goes out about it, because like it's a clip on the internet where I think right before he was about to launch his brand with Adidas, he does an interview with Sway, and Sway's telling him, like, why don't you just go ahead and just do your own thing instead of like getting the support from these other brands. But he's like, how? Like he's like, I need that to have that kind of like that global impact.
Because doing that, starting your own brand is expensive.
Yeah. So he got like the manpower from Adidas to really take his brand to the next level, and I guess he became a billionaire off of that solely because Adidas is like it's up there with with his Yeezy brand. So, but like I said, like him separating from that, I'm interested to see what he's gonna come up with. Because like the shoes are like they're like weird to me. They're just
not even weird. They're ugly. They're fucking ugly. They're terrible designed shoes.
So
they get by based off of the fact that Kanye is popular, but he is really, really pushing the limits of his popularity right now.
So you wouldn't wear a pair of Yeezys?
Fuck to the no.
We got you a pair for free.
Fuck to the no.
What size shoe you wear?
15.
They don't got them in that size. I know. I ain't even check the size. I know they got no 15s.
And I wouldn't wear them ugly ass holy shoes with no damn. No.
That's the wave right now. So, but yeah, that's the only thing I would like. Oh, okay, if you separate from Adidas, let's see what his brand gonna do.
I'm excited to see that man get some fucking help.
You keep on waiting. So, and then what else did you see when he put his deal with Gap?
Nah, I didn't see it.
So he has a partnership with Gap. He wanted to present. You go to a department store, they have clothes on racks and on shelving.
Yeah.
He wanted to put his clothes in trash bags and have people hunt for their sizes in the trash bags. I don't know why this is news to you.
That man is a genius. Goddamn genius. Every time I go into a department store and looking for clothes, I always wondered, what would make this more exciting? Digging through a trash bag to find what I need, as opposed to having things laid out and labeled so I know exactly where to look to get what I want. Man's a fucking genius.
I don't see why it's not more of a thing now. I guess it's somebody I just coming out of my head because of that. Like you gonna try and find your size, so the midget pop out. Is that the right word? Midget, small people. And just get shot. Looking for large?
No, but going to the department store is an experience. Fuck. Just fucking genius.
You go in there, you like, what size you looking for? I'm looking for a large. Fight me for it. What? I got your size on. Fight me for it.
Here, take this mace. Try my combat.
I like to hit the ball wire bat.
Fuck out of here. Fucking genius. Genius, Kanye. Genius.
The mind is Kanye. Oh, boy.
Get some fucking help.
So, hold on. So what else we got going on here? So, all right. Squeegee Boys. We talked about this before. Bring it up one more time. So with the crime that happened some months ago where a gentleman was killed because he had approached the Squeegee Boy and they shot him. That child, I think, is still locked up. His day in court is still pending. Come to find out, there is a law in Baltimore that says that you cannot be outside soliciting for services. And I'm paraphrasing, but
well, I mean, there are plenty of solicitation laws in Maryland.
Yeah. So, but you can't be out there asking for a service or necessarily panhandling neither. So the community, well, I'll say more so the public wants to know why is it not being enforced. Why is this law not being enforced when it comes to these squeegee kids? So my question to present to you and the public is, what do we do with them?
The better question is do you really want all of your taxpayer money spent on rounding up kids trying to make a buck? So neighborhoods are already over-policed. Now we want to force the police to chase after kids who are trying to squeegee windows? First and foremost. Secondly, they clearly want to make money and they need something to do. Give them something to do that they can make money. That'll remove them off of the interstates, the streets, bothering folks. I mean, simple as that. Give them something to do. Because if you think that they want to be walking up and down the goddamn highway with a squeegee and a bottle all fucking day to make a couple bucks, I guarantee they don't. But it's just an easy way to make some money.
Yeah, it's very easy. And now, I'm sure it's bothersome to the people out there driving and stuff because you're like, I don't want to be bothered. And then you might get into an area with like maybe 2 or 3 you run across. But it doesn't make it's no different than selling waters. Either you're gonna either give them, you're gonna tip them, or you're gonna buy the water, or you're gonna say, hey, yeah, hit my window real quick.
So, and again, we already scream about how over policed, especially urban neighborhoods are, and black people are. Minorities are very much over policed. We want to increase that because of some minor inconvenience. Like the crime that happens between the general public and the squeegee boys is so fucking limited. Mm-hmm. So fucking limited that trying to create policies to explicitly address them, it just seems asinine to me.
Yeah, I know they
give them things to do.
Yeah, I know they have taken a group of them and have gotten them jobs. And I think there's even a group of them that started selling their own brand of water. Great. You got some kids off the street and giving them a actual legit job. But for every 10 you take off the street, which was, like I said, it's a small number of kids that they showed in the news that they said they took about so many kids, you're going to have the same amount or double to come out on the streets and say, well, since those kids are gone, I can now fill that spot. So
I don't know if that's actually how that works.
I mean, if the Quantum Monte, they got real jobs, I'm going to go out there with my squeegee now.
Again, I don't know if that's how that actually works. Because the pandemic of squeegee boys isn't really that goddamn great.
So, but I think also too, what could happen is that young man that they are locked up for that murder, depending on what his sentencing is I think he's gonna be made an example of, and I think they're gonna hope that might be.
Oh, I mean, obviously, that's what's gonna happen because this new public outcry about what are we gonna do with the squeegee kids or the squeegee boys.
Because I think that what they're waiting for is that because of Marilyn Mosby's coming out and Ivan Baker is coming. Is it Ivan Baker?
I can't remember his name.
Whatever the prosecutor's name is, the new DA. I mean, he's coming in January, I believe. So he's gonna they holding that for him, and he's gonna set the tone from there on out. So I don't like the idea of them over policing them. Because I thought about it for a little while. I was like, what if they had an adult out there? I'm like, who want to do that? You know, and then hey, if something does pop off, what's going to be a way to solve that? You know, that conflict. How you going to deter that? And it's like
bring the people with guns, apparently.
Right. So it's like, you know, if you had an assigned adult out there, that adult can be able to carry a weapon, or is it carrying, you know, some kind of mace or walkie-talkie? Like, what do you do?
Right. Again, you just adding more complication to a not as complicated situation.
Right. And then also, too, I want to point this out that if a squeegee boy comes to you and you say, I ain't got nothing, do not give them your Cash App information or Zelle or anything. I mean, because apparently the latest crime is that this young man, I don't know, I either look it up, but I don't know if he killed them or he tapped them. He tapped 2 squeegee boys because they hustled his mother out of $1,000. So I don't know, and it says through Cash App, so we can speculate all day how that happened, but I'm honestly not sure, like, why would you do that?
All right, unless she gave them the phone.
Yeah, that's just not smart, because if I say, okay, I'll give you $10, and then you, all right, here you go, bye, and then you just walk away, run away. One thing you can do is, say bank fraud.
Yeah, I would need to look into the particulars of that particular case because, again,
all I know is that I spent $70 on 2 windshield wipers. So you little niggas is not washing my window.
I don't know why you spent that much on windshield wipers. What the fuck they do? Did they come out and once they wipe it give you positive affirmations? You're doing a good job today. What is that?
All right, the story behind that is this. I was trying to buy some cheaper ones, but all they had was these left in my size for my vehicle. And I went to 2 stores. I ain't feel like going to another store.
See, that was your problem right there.
Well, how's that? They were out of stock.
You should have found a 3rd store.
I didn't feel like it.
See? And that was your fault.
That was adulting.
That was your fault.
So, and let's see. I got one last question I put on there for you because I wanted to kind of throw you off your game. You see the campaign ad about defund the police? This was a white man. I forgot where he's at. I think it's Florida. It's because everything's in Florida. He was like, you want to defund the police? We're not doing it. If you want to call, if you defund the police, then you can't call the police. Who you gonna call? A crackhead?
What? Wait a minute. Why is that the next thing in line? I can't call the police, so I call the crackhead. What? That is such a huge logical leap. I don't even understand what to do with that.
See, that's why I write down the notes. Because you're gone.
I don't know what to do with that.
I got to see if I can find that video to put maybe, because I know I may be missing a piece, but it's a campaign ad where this guy's like, you want us to fund the police? No. Like, what sense does that make? If you do that, who are you going to call? A crackhead? And it's like, how'd we get here?
Because everybody has a crackhead on speed dial just in case they can't get in touch with the police. How is that even the next logical thing?
You know you're white, too.
Of course he's white. That is fucking ridiculous.
I'm trying to think, though. It's like calling a crackhead, though, is that a better result than calling the police?
You're less likely to die, especially if you're a minority.
Right.
I would say more likely to get shit stolen from you, but nope, civil asset forfeiture is a thing. So yeah, no. You probably end up with a better result with the crackhead.
Yeah, because you have to pay him or something, get some rocks. Come on, man, I'm going around going.
I mean, no, if I'm calling the crackhead instead of the police, I'm not calling to get rocks.
You got the crack don't want some services rendered?
I pay him with my taxes. We're gonna just replace the police with crackheads now. Good job, whatever Congress person who ran that ad. Good idea. Wow, I am so befuddled.
Mission accomplished.
I don't even understand how one is supposed to be the antithesis of the other. Okay. Good job, sir. Good job.
Now, we not having no police unit. We're going to have crackhead unit.
That's the next logical step down. Fucking retarded.
It's about as good as an idea.
It's a Republican.
Yeah,
I already know
of course it is. It's about good of an idea as like when Dr. No said, I'm going to put lasers on sharks.
Makes sense. Makes perfect fucking sense.
Oh, boy. So, that's all I got. Anything else you want to add to the episode?
I'm good. After that police crackhead comment, I'm done.
So, if you haven't, make sure you go watch the latest episode of I Hate the Internet. Make sure you watch the latest episode of Fat Adventures. And tune into any episodes of the rest of the podcast, cast you have not seen, and catch up on those episodes.
And as always, that's the show. You can check us out on YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify.
Peace out.
Peace.